In this video, we are going to be looking at how to factorize number using C programming language. First of all, I'm going to create the main file, which is I'm going to call it factor.c. So now I have my factor.c. I'm going to need some things also, some files like the header file. I'm going to create an header file, separate header file, and I'm going to create a function to run my actual factorization. Basically, I'm going to create the main function here. So this is the main file. Let me start writing the program now. I'm going to add the argument count and argument vector here. So count and pointer to the vector. So this is argument vector. Okay, so this is done. Now I'm going to check some certain things concerning the parameters are passed to this int main function. We have the arg count, which is counting the number of inputs, and we have the vector also. Okay, I'm going to check if the arg count is, like, the argument count is up to 2, like if it's up to 2. So once it's up to 2, that means I can run the file, because in this program, for it to work, when I'm about to execute the C program, like the executable file, I have to provide another file to it, like maybe a text file. And if that text file is not there, it will give me an error that, okay, you don't have any file to read into the input. So I'm just going to do that now. So let's say, if using if statement, if the argument count, which you have up there, is not equal to 2, like if it's not equal to 2, it has to be exactly 2 arguments, which is the executing command and the actual file. So it has to be 2. So if it's not up to that, I want you to throw an error. For me to show that, I'm going to use this f print f. This is using in case the person running the file doesn't know how to use it. So we have to put the executing command followed by the file to read the input from. Okay. So the reason why I'm having error here is that I have not add header file. So I'm just going to add header file to this program. And the header file I'm going to use it to be an external header file, not just directly adding define std input output with each. So I'm just going to add an external header file. I'm going to create the external header file. So in this header file, we need to add some things here. Inside this header file, now I'm going to declare the library I'm going to use, the header I'm going to use. I'm going to include std input output, because I'm going to need it, and I'm going to include the library header too, which is std line. So I'm going to use both of them, and I'm going to end this so using end if. Since this is set up already, I'm going to move back to my main file and continue my work here. Okay, so now I said if the argument count is not exactly 2, The second argument may not be there, so let's use another word. Let's say, okay, I'm just going to say file name. File name. So file name. So this is the error message. So once the user see this error message, he or she will know that okay, this is how we are going to use it. So and this signifies that our the program is not successful. So it's just going to return one, and this returning one means the program fails. So but if this is not the case, if the user actually provide up to two inputs, this if statement is not going to get executed. So we'll move to the next program. The next thing in line now is to create our file, is to open our file, like the file that was received from the by the second argument. So we are going to use the file statement, the pointer. I'm still going to name it file. Okay, and I'm going to open it using this f open command. And that file we want to open will be on the second argument vector. Okay, so we are opening it in read mode. We're going to open it in read mode. That's our we are going to check if the file opens successfully or if it actually contains content. If it does not, we need to see some error message. We need to see some error message and possible corrections to it. So now I'm going to use if statement. If file equals null, that is if there's nothing inside the file. If there's nothing in the file, you should see that okay. I'm going to use the f print f. If the file actually contains some data, then we can proceed to the next step by reading the contents in the file. We use the getLine function. This getLine function takes some parameters, which is the buffer, the size, and the file we are using. So I'm going to declare them here. GetLine assign space dynamically. So it's going, if you need more space, it will change 0 to the actual amount of space it's actually need. So I don't need to worry myself about that. So now I'm just going to pass those initialization here. I'm going to check if this is not equals to -1, because if the file is unable to open and unable to create read it into the buffer, it's going to return 0 -1 into the line. So instead of having actual number in the line declaration, we are going to have -1. So as long as it's not equal to -1, that means there's actual data in the file and it's stored successfully inside the buffer. So why this I'm going to factorize. So I'm just going to declare it here, but I'm going to create the function later to be a separate function to factorize what the buffer. So I'm going to create this function separately. Declare it up here first. Let me declare it. Okay, I'm just going to name it number. So since I already declared it here, now I'm going to create the function. So I'm going to create the function down here. Okay. So now that I've passed in the buffer here, and there is one more thing to check in this main function. Actually, get line function automatically adds new line. It automatically adds new line to whatever is stored in it, whatever data that is stored in it, automatically add new line to it. So to remove that, we are going to check. Once we remove that new line, we're going to remove the new line. And to do that, we just say buffer at that point in line. There was one. We assign it to what? No. So this will remove the new line in it. Then you can factorize. So now let's come to the factorization part. So before we can be able to factorize, we are going to check. We are going to convert whatever that is coming using a particular function, and that function name is called @hol. It's called @number. Num is equals to @hol. That's ask it to integer. So once this is done, I'm going to say I'm going to create an external file here that we're going to use. So and I'm going to name it file.txt. I'm just going to create some random numbers here that we're going to factorize. So let me see. We are going to factorize this set of numbers. So I'm going to be using this file as the external file. Okay, I'll be making some adjustments now before I run the file. Okay, here we are supposed to have size instead of just int. So that's what I'm going to work with here. Let me see if there is any other error I need to correct. If the program actually not successful, I will fill the buffer that we are using in order to avoid memory leakage. I'll close the file. So I'm going to need to check some things here. This is supposed to be int. No. And I need to check. Let's check if the number is less than 1. If it's less than 1, then we can factorize. If it's less than or equal to 1, then we can factorize. If the number is not less than or equal to 1, then we are good to go. Okay, now that the file is complete, I'm going to run the file now. I'm going to run the file and see if it's going to work. So to compile it, to say this is the name of the file you are using. I'm using the header, external header, and the actual main file. I'm going to name the executable file RSA. Okay, we got some errors which I need to correct. Okay, the file runs successfully. So now let's start factorizing. Let's check what we are going to. Let's check our output using the executable file. So this is our executable file called RSA. I'm going to run it on my editor to see what is going to happen. RSA. Okay, you can see that it shows that this is how to use it. We are going to put in the RSA, then the file name. I didn't put any file name, that is how we have error. So I'm going to put the file name now, and I've already created the file here called file.txt. Yeah. So I'm going to use that, and it's going to try to factorize the numbers in it. So that's using the stable file. Then I'm going to put the file name here, file.txt. Okay, I'm just going to write file again. I will write the full name to see what will happen. Okay, you can see it says can't read file data or empty file because I didn't actually write the complete file name. Okay. Okay. I'm going to actually write the complete name now, file.txt, and let's see what will happen. Okay, you can see now that it factorized it. So we are able to factorize those numbers in the file. So I can input any number and it will factorize to the two smallest number. So yeah, I can add another number again. Let's say 1111. So once I run the program again, it's going to compile it, then I'll execute it. You can see that. So this is the factor of this number. So this is how to create a function that can factorize number in C programming language. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.